Hey, welcome to the Cyber Savvy Woman, where women business owners reclaim their power in the digital world. We shatter the myth that cybersecurity is too complex to master and transform protection strategies into clear, actionable guidance. This is your digital empowerment sanctuary, where cyber fear becomes cyber confidence. Whether you're protecting client trust as a therapist or safeguarding financial data as an advisor, you'll hear from women founders who've conquered digital challenges and security experts who speak your language. Every woman leading a business deserves to feel unshakable in her digital decisions, no matter her technical background. Are you ready to stop letting cybersecurity intimidate you and start letting it elevate you? Here's your host, Rachele Schainker.
Welcome back to the Cyber Savvy Woman, where we talk about practical ways women can protect themselves, their businesses, and their futures in our increasingly digital world. I'm your host, Rachele Schainker, a Silicon Valley technologist and owner of the award-winning managed service provider CMIT Solutions of San Mateo. Today, we're talking with Edith Sumaquial, founder of the Kulay Collective, who works at the intersection of strategy, technology, and helping nonprofits and small mid-sized organizations simplify how they work and actually get value from the tools they use. We'll dive into how organizations can simplify their tech use AI intentionally, and build smarter systems without enterprise-sized teams. Edith, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we had a lovely pre-call, and I really enjoyed learning about both of your organizations, the Kulay Collective and also the Fly Collective. So, am I getting that correct? It's two different ones, correct?
No, actually, it's just Kulay Collective. Yeah. So the Fly Collective is different. Yes.
Oh, just the Kulay Collective. Okay. All right. So again, we're talking with Edith with the Kulay Collective. So that's so great. So Edith, share with us a little bit about your collective. Explain to them, what you're doing, how you're serving, how you're working with different organizations.
So for right now, there's this whole thing, I came from corporate. What's really funny is before that, I was a journalist, and then I just decided I want a little bit more training and understanding how a big corporation would work. So I worked with iHeartRadio in the very, very beginning, and then transferred into the wine industry with Gallo. And it really sort of showed me how enterprise wise, everything was siloed and segmented and specialized. And then what I noticed with myself being a storyteller, a communicator by just naturally, there was this really disconnect during that time. It was like the early 2000s and 2010s, where no one really understood how to utilize just tech in general or social media. And do we need a website? What does that even mean, for our business? Especially when it's a B2B type of scenario with wine, like we don't sell directly. And then also just understanding how that works with CPG, consumer packaged goods products, where you buy them in the grocery store. You don't buy them directly from, the actual like Oreos website. So it's just sort of funny how all that came together. But really, digital, what I noticed was that gateway for me to get into tech, to really be that person of tech is actually there to make things easier. And really, it's another version of storytelling of just, okay, how can I get the information quicker? How can I understand, just the entire story of what we're trying to give in tech? Like, how is it assisting you with AI? How is it helping you with your business? How is it making things work more efficiently? So having to start that with my corporate side, where how do I get all these different teams to talk to each other, and they're talking through digital software and SaaS products, and now where I'm trying to help nonprofits who a lot of come with a lot of passion, but they don't understand the structure of the business, but they don't need to spend that time to do that. Like their bread and butter is the passion. So let's keep them doing that. So Kulai Collective came about where it's just all of my thought leaders, my friends, my colleagues, my peers who, really are open to helping out, small to mid-sized businesses, nonprofits, and go, okay, hey, here's how we can really make your business efficient and optimize tech so you could do what you do best. And that is bring the passion, bring all that, boots on the ground, all that, you know, sweat equity into your actual business. And then we'll help you identify the processes so you can run the business seamlessly digitally.
Yeah.
That was a long explanation.
No, no, it's perfect. I mean, we definitely share, a similar background where we both were in corporate and then wanted to pivot to do something on our own and helping either small businesses. I also support nonprofits. Making that change for you, was that something that felt intuitive, that you wanted to do this? You have that entrepreneurial spirit, or was it kind of scary? It was scary for me, or, what was your kind of your thought process there?
Can I say all of the above?
Sure, fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Uh, right. I think the scary part for me was just again leaving the comfort of having structure in corporate, right? Um, but the work was so much more meaningful. And when I realized I can actually, you know, help my community out by giving this service and my experience, it was way worth the comfort of being in corporate America. I also saw it as a chance as well. Like, most of the time in corporate America, there's this feeling you're going to hit where you know that maybe it's time to either switch companies, switch careers. I don't know. And I just feel like when I started advocating and talking to people within my community who have the small businesses and the nonprofit organizations. I was like, I can help you with that. That's simple. And the fact that they were so appreciative of my work, totally, totally different, right? Like you never get the thank you. You never get the thank you in the other world, right?
No, you do get that instant gratification
Yeah.
and that little dopamine hit, and it does feel, it is rewarding. It's, like, similar, I'm taking enterprise IT down to small business, and, they really see the value, and they are so appreciative that someone is, putting a spotlight on them or want to help them. Yeah, that was new to me. I mean, I was excited to start this, but I didn't really know that was gonna be, one of the benefits of it
Yep.
was the actual fulfillment of what we're doing. So it's great.
Yeah. Well, no one tells you that either. Yeah. And how do you monetarily say that is going to happen? And you can't. It's such a qualitative feeling. So it's not anything that we can put a number, but it truly has made me feel a lot more proud of my work, especially after COVID and rearranging work from home. And I just feel like there is empathy that's being lost in not only the tech world, but just in organizations in general. Um, and, just being efficient and actually letting tech help you be more empathetic is something that I've really latched onto. So everyone's like, well, tech and AI, it's not human. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to use that's where we work efficiently together, right? Is I bring the humanity into AI and I gut check and I make sure and I help understand the real processes of what an organization needs to run. Um, and at the same time, like AI, they're still learning, right? Like every software product, too, even if you get something right off the shelf, you have to customize it a little bit because everyone is just catering just a little bit differently to their audience. Sorry, the sun is like now hardcore.
It's the spotlight. The spotlight's on you. Was there a moment in your career where you kind of realized, "Oh, I'm really good at translating between business marketing and developers?" Kinda had that aha moment? For myself, I didn't even realize that was a skill set that had value when I realized that.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember. I mean, can you share with us kind of, how that came for you?
It was truly when I was on the digital marketing team and we started working with our IT innovation team, totally two separate. They never talked before me. And essentially it was just a conversation like, well, we built this random thing that it's facial recognition and I think it's really, really cool back in the day. And they're like, but I don't know how we'll use it. Like, would you guys use it? I was like, yes, we could do it in aisle. you know. So it was really cool because they use their expertise and just having conversation and being able to nerd out with developers and like I don't need to be the subject matter expert on Python. You know,
Right.
I don't need to do, but I wanna know why they're doing certain builds, so then I can be like, "Oh, you can use it this way." And in that moment when I had, those conversations and brainstorms with the IT innovation team, I was like, "You need me. Like, you build all these things that just stay in this closet,
Yes.
I could get all these, like, proof of concepts out there for you." And so that's what ended up happening, and, um, my boss at the time was just like, "That's your superpower. You speak nerd and sales."
Yeah. Right, exactly. I mean, Edith, I can think of, like, a few on my one hand where we have that skill set, and it's, I mean, I guess for our viewers, if you know of anyone who has that, please encourage them because it is such a rewarding, building that path where the teams can communicate and support each other. Yeah, I understand that. Um, what did you see happening in organizations where the groups, don't understand each other or they continue just to be in these silos? What's the risk of that, if you will?
Yeah. Well, there's no growth. You just stop the growth right as it is, and especially in not only this economy, but just this really crazy uproar of AI. It's so polarizing, right? Like you're either with it or you're not. I'm like, can I be a little bit of both? And when you don't stop to just think of, hey, can I use this? And you don't even have to use it. Just having that quick conversation with yourself of like, okay, let me just pretend I'm into AI. How would that work out? Just to open those doors a little bit, you'll get immediate growth because then you start to see your business in a different lens. I always tell everyone, if you have one product and you say that way, that it's going to stay that way forever. And that means the world around you is just going to keep going quicker. Um, I don't think there's one thing that is recession economy proof or consumer proof, um, even with food, right? Is it organic? Is it sustainable? Like, I don't want to get to the grocery store. So even something as simple as food, there's all these different, specificities that are coming from it that consumers are asking for. And it's the humanity side, right? For me, when I started working with CPG, consumer packaged goods company, I came with the lens of my family and I have really crazy food allergies. It sucks. I hate it. Everyone thinks I'm being picky. I'm like, no, I have a how I would die list with all the things I can't eat.
Right. Oh, wow.
I miss it, right? And so I come with that lens of, I look at every product, even if it's lotion, like what is something that's going to irritate me? And that shows me because I have to be open that there are new things that I can no longer do consume. There's got to be other people like that too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, for sure.
Just the way that everything works out. So keeping in that mind frame of staying the same. I mean, even trying to reinvent and have a refresh of what you currently have. Like you don't have to start from scratch and reinvent the wheel, get rid of your bread and butter, but let's elevate that a little bit, right? Like how else can we do it? I was listening to this other podcast about craft mac and cheese. Like it's no longer losing its monopoly on, mac and cheese. Like there's so many different offerings. And that's truly because Kraft didn't, they just stopped. They're like, oh, we're good. We're just going to hang out here. We're good. Yeah. And there was no innovation. There was not even a conversation to just see what if. And that I say that not only with life, but in business. What if you tried this, right? What's the biggest harm you can do? And test and learn. Ugh, that's one thing I learned in innovation is you can test a lot of things, low lift, low budget, and see if it works. And then if it doesn't, cool, but you tried it. So, having that mind frame of fail fast to learn fast is also another thing I go by because then that keeps me current. That keeps me not only current, but ahead of what could be because I keep asking the questions.
Yeah. No, I love that. All right, let's talk about the Kulay Collective a little bit deeper. Share with me kind of an example ideal client or somebody who you're working with. Who are they serving? What's the size? What is your sweet spot there?
Well, actually, I think my sweet spot right now is startups and nonprofits. Um, with startups, I recently just helped launch, it's called futureinprogress.org. And it is as if LinkedIn and Indeed had a localized hiring site baby, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and it comes at a time in my community where there's a lot of people who are trying to find new jobs and look for jobs, but they don't know that there's actual employers and opportunities in our hometown, and vice versa. There's big corporations that are out of San Joaquin County, but they don't know that there's actually talent in our backyard.
Oh, interesting.
So how do we connect them? Yeah, so what I loved about that whole project was it was local. It was something I felt like I could have true impact with my capabilities and knowledge with. Um, and it was starting a little bit from scratch. Like I had something new to build, and I think that was great and the openness of it. So startups are great. I worked with the entire from, you know, conception all the way of the brand, all the way out to launch the go-to-market strategy, creating, the 1 to 3 year plan, the 3 to 5 year plan, how they hire, source, and then I go, okay, go ahead, and then I help them. That actually makes me the most excited. That's my favorite. And then also working with nonprofits, right? Even if they've been established for a long time, there's a lot of legacy inefficiencies that they're just not aware of because they're so in the work. And you have to give them props for that. Like they're always trying to stay current. They're always trying to put that extra effort, but it's always for right now. And so what I love doing is being able to go, okay, you keep working and I'm going to take and learn everything about what you guys are and help you think long term so you can scale, so you can become bigger and impact more people locally and or nationally depending on the nonprofit. And so I feel like those are my really good sweet spots for me personally, but there's a lot of people on my team. So we're this collective network of professionals. A lot of us are actually from corporate, and it's us trying to find those passion projects that really give us that extra lift and pep in our step to do something that's a little bit different. So we do have a bunch where you have a lot of integrative strategy. So there's people who don't even understand how to utilize, still to this day, all these new social platforms. They just think they either are posting too much and it has no direction or call to action, or they're not on it at all. You know, what's the difference between LinkedIn? What's the difference between TikTok? Why should I be on, YouTube Shorts? I don't know. And so we really help them identify something as small as that to something as what's your comms like? You know, so really coming in to help out like with fractional C-suite or even being that external um, department that they just can't hire internally, but we're at least there and we don't take away from their, operational budget, that helps. That makes us feel better.
Yeah, so when you come in, I guess there is, like, a scope of work, it's not just like, "Here we are." What's your best way or how do you engage when you first walk in and you're like, "I'm gonna help them with their comms," what's your first step? Is it interviewing? Is it reviewing documents? Or how do you kind of, like how do you do that pre-assessment or assessment?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a background working with like Lean Six Sigma fundamentals. I like to learn a lot first about the company. Most of the time, I get approached and or someone sends me an RFP. And I look through it. Cool. I look through it, but then I engage and ask them more about, what are those voice of the customers? What is that interview? It's very journalism too, where it's like an interview, right? And you learn as much as you can. And so I try to offer them, okay, yes, you're asking for this, but really, if we help you with this, that comes with it.
Right, right.
And you have something that is more long term versus short term. And then I really try to also help show. what are the KPIs? What are the goals? What I've noticed with some of my clients is there's a lot of agencies out there or consultants, and there's no way to actually see if there's ROI with whatever you paid for. No one gives you, "Hey, if you do this program we give you and you reach these milestones, you will double X," right? So I really like to offer that. I think sometimes that's why we could be a little bit more expensive than most agencies because we tell you and we tell you how to do it. We don't just give you qualitative programming that we just really hope you get this many followers and then it doesn't even matter you know? So that's where I like to get really on board with any of my clients. And sometimes it takes a couple passes because it's a little bit more expensive. Everyone's like, "Ooh, I just needed this." And I'm like, "Okay, but maybe keep in touch. You might need me next year when you realize."
Yeah, right, exactly, until they're really in a corner and then they're like, "Okay, it's time." Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So most of the time it's truly either website or LinkedIn or just through my network where people go, "Hey, I know you're doing something." My collective network, they just bring opportunities and right now it's word of mouth, but I just feel like right now there's a lot of people who probably need a little bit more assistance and it's okay to ask. That's what I tell everyone. I love that you're an executive director or you're a CEO, but it's okay to ask because sometimes you just need an outside perspective to really see your ideas come into fruition, you know?
I love that. That's great. Let's talk a little bit like with technology and kind of how you help with the AI strategy. You shared with me kind of how you described AI as a robotic gut check. I think that was a great phrase. How do you use AI in your work today?
A lot of it is research. I used to spend hours upon hours and then, really going through fact checking and what I've known um, to be very helpful with AI is just asking it questions, using it for research, understanding market research that it's collecting. And then I also start asking, okay, if let's say it's a question on like a website that's needed in a local community. So I start asking it the questions on, how to research this. And then I go, do you think this would be a good idea to launch in my area? After we get into the granularity of it, really understanding the topic, right? I'm doing that because I wanted to learn. I want to learn. And then two, it's almost like that, without this sounding weird, but it's almost like a conversation that I would have with a developer, where we just have that conversation. Okay, I get why you pulled that. I like that. Okay, but what if, right? So, even though it's not a physical person, I do feel like there is that strategic banter that I'm having with AI. Um, but I am utilizing.
And it's so easy to say, "No, that's not right," because no one's feelings get hurt, right?
And that's my favorite part too, is I don't have to, worry about that, right? That's the one thing I could go like, "Well, I'm gonna poke at you. Why do you say that? Where did you pull that fact?" And it's not like, "I hate you," you know?
Exactly, and then it spirals out. HR is not coming after us, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I do also, just for giggles, make sure I'm still always nice to AI. I make sure my chat bot is still getting please and thank you all the time.
Yes, I know, I can't not do that, even though I know it's not great for the environment, I'm always like, "Please do this, thank you."
You never know. I also don't ever want it to be, like, on one of my saved chats, and then I just see that I'm just cussing at it, and they're like, "Oh, it's in writing now. It's in writing now." But, yeah, no, it's definitely one of my resources, not the only resource, and that's how I wanna tell everybody, it's like, it's just this other person on your team, um, and it shouldn't be the only team, but it should be a part of your actual process.
Where do you see people that are kind of, underutilizing the tool? Like I know, I think people are sometimes can be cautious or don't want to use it. Like I was talking to somebody and she was like, "Oh, I want to write a use case, but it will take so long." And I was like, you could start there, right? I mean, do you see people kind of underutilizing it?
Yeah, I think it's because, just in my experience, underutilization happens when no one's actually using it. You know what I mean? They're just so scared, they just don't even want to touch it. And then if they do touch it, it's with a safe question, right? Well, then you're not testing it, right? You're not testing it in a real use case that you would use it, right? So there has to be a little bit of a trust. But what I always tell some people is like, there's nothing wrong with you doing it. It's the same thing of you talking to an idea with someone you just randomly meet at a coffee shop. How do you not know they're going to use your IP? How do you not know they're recording you right now? Like, just always putting the what if or the ands, of just, you don't know until you try it. You also have to understand that it's an assistance. It's not the dependencies like what we were saying before. And I think that's where people underutilize. Like, I 100%, if I need a template, I'm like, I need an example because my brain just doesn't want to put two words together. Give me an example. And I would say 99% of it, it's like, okay, that's great. That's great inspiration. I'm going to start there. But then I always have to add my own flair because most of the time I'm emailing and people know how I talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still can't get AI to talk like me and have my humor and have, just the way that I pitch things or something. So, um, I just think it's just try it and try it in a sense where you're ready to play and be a little bit more specific on how you would use it versus like, what's the weather like today? Or, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's talk, about kind of change, experimentation, leadership. Um, you talked earlier about, learning fast, failing fast. How, when you kind of share that with a client, I would imagine sometimes they might be slightly resistant. Is there a way you can kind of create a psychological safety for them that, how do you like get them to get into that mindset?
So, one, I always say, I'm comfortable with failing fast to learn fast. So I do that on my time to make sure I can bring you what makes most sense for you. I feel them out first, right? And then if I start to see, and the way that I bring it up is also like, oh, so I did this test and learn, and I did this little test here, and this is what I found about your business, right? So I sort of use how I learn about them. And then they're like, and if it's correct, they're like, wow, that works. And then most of the time they're inquisitive. Whenever you make it relatable to someone's own business or whatever they're asking you to do, they tend to ask more about how and the why. And so then that opens a conversation of them saying, well, how many times did you fail? I'm like, oh, like 27. But that was okay because look, I got here, right? Or I tried this 27 times and it didn't work. Or I tried this only two times and then it worked, right? And then getting them okay with failing fast or learn fast doesn't mean you're just burning through money. It's just I'm burning through my time. That's it. But sometimes I think that's fun. So I'll take it. And that's how I also make it approachable for my clients is if I could tell that is not the thing to lead with, I let them know that's how I work to get to the right strategy for them.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so a bit of show and tell.
Yes. Yes.
I like that, it's smart. Yeah, 'cause, I will sometimes, we see new tools, new cybersecurity tools, and they can be hesitant or they can be resistant. And, I really take a more consultative, not a salesy pitch. And I'm thinking I could probably do that more where I could kind of show them how it works. And, I think once they get comfortable with that, it would be a easier, segue. But yeah, no, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Um, and then kind of, when you do suggest a new tool, how do you make sure everyone's using it? And, how does that happen for you? Or if you get resistance to a new tool and they don't want it, what happens then?
I think that is the one thing I loved about Lean Six Sigma is that facilitation of bringing everyone on, not just changing and forcing them to change, getting them to understand. So really showing them the current process of something and then say, okay, tell me where are your hiccups? Where's your root cause? Where's the pain points, right? And then giving examples and having them try it out. And I always give multiple options. I don't ever think there's like a silver bullet. I always think that there's always going to be at least three options to say. And so if they don't want to try it out, then I try it out and then I show them my scenarios of what happened, what was completed, and what was done. And then as simple as, I mean, it's the things that I love about when you're like looking for a new phone and you want to compare the functions. Like, oh, it does this, or like it's a Spotify plan, and you're like, oh, I like this plan better because I get more stuff. Yeah, I do a comparison chart as well, where it's like, here's the green button for all the things that you get here. You don't get that with this. And it just is easier, right? So it just depends on how involved they want to get, but also just showing them options. I think most people get really freaked out when there's only one option and it's not their choice, right? So giving the element of choice brings everyone in to feel like they're a stakeholder in the conversation and the decision. So yeah, so that's what one thing I loved. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Start doing that with my kids too. You're
All right. So, Edith, at the end of our podcast, we do a quick little cyber savvy fire. I'll ask you a question. You'll share with us your first thing that comes to mind. What is the favorite technical tool that you can't live without right now?
not GPT.
That's fair. Is AI exciting, scary, or both to you right now?
Both.
Both. And what is one tech habit you wish everyone had?
Exploration.
Yes. Is multi-factor authentication annoying or non-negotiable?
Oh, can I see both? There are times I'm like, yes, multi-authenticate. And then there's other times where I'm like, I just want a coffee. Just let me have my coffee.
Yeah, sure, sure. Right, exactly. Is there one cybersecurity habit that you're really good at?
Emails.
Yes, good, good. And, phishing email, do you delete it or do you report it first?
Report then delete.
Yeah, there you go. If a business owner could do one thing today to be more cyber savvy, what would it be?
That's nice. Uh, that's a great.
Is that a good one? You like that one?
I mean, I'm looking through the sectors and it's not rapid fire, so I apologize. Um, I think the one thing would be to envision how your business could be viewed through your phone.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's a great answer. Edith, thank you so much for joining me today. I loved hearing your insights on strategy, efficiency, and how organizations can simplify their technology to better support their mission. Your perspective on bridging businesses, marketing, technology, and helping teams get value from the tools they already have is such a powerful reminder that effective technology isn't about more software, it's about clarity, intention, and people. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning into the Cyber Savvy Woman, where we explore practical ways women can protect themselves, their businesses, and their futures in an increasingly digital world. To connect with Edith and learn more about the Kulay Collective, be sure to check out the show notes for links and resources mentioned in today's episode. If you've enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow, rate, and share the show. And join us next time for more real conversations about technology, leadership, and living a more cyber savvy life. Thank you so much, Edith. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
The Cyber Savvy Woman podcast requires more than a conversation. It takes action, research, and collective wisdom. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your insights. Join the conversation and help us shape the future together. We'll be back with more stories, strategies, and real-world solutions that are making a difference for everyone. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too. Hey, thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode.